Good evening and welcome to the Minions of the Zoo. I'm your host and keeper of the Harry Channel, and with me tonight are minions SkepTok.
Hi, everybody.
And Kefki.
It's SkepTok and Harry! Yay! Hi.
Hi. Oh, well, no, time's a wasting. So, how are you, Kefki?
I am pretty good. I'm alive. How are you?
I'm fine. How's the great state of Tennessee?
It is still here.
Do you guys have a state song? And if you do people actually, are people aware of it?
Yeah, no, not that I'm aware. I mean, the closest thing I could think is the Yellow Rose of Texas.
Well,
but she was a gal from Tennessee.
Yeah, well, maybe. I think the state song for California it's so creative. It's called I Love You, California. Now, I think that if you took that and then you made a video with that being played and then just showed pictures of like hypodermic needles and tent cities and
You could also do California, Here I Come, where bowers, flowers bloom in the sun, you know, and have the rows of homeless people and
yeah. Well, Tony Bennett passed away, who's you know, famous around these parts for singing "I Left My Heart in San Francisco," and so God, he
saw it all. Man.
He was like an institution. Wrapped in history, smothered in institution sauce. I mean, he'd been around like forever.
Yes.
I mean, people die eventually, right? That's not a big surprising thing. But in all of my life, he has been around singing that.
No. And there aren't any of the old crooners still alive. Bing Crosby's dead. Danny Kaye's dead. You know, the famous singers of yesterday, like Tony Bennett, or Mel Torme's another one. They're all gone.
Well, the Velvet Fog's been gone for a while.
Yeah, Velvet Fog's been gone for a while. I'm glad you know him. Glad you know his name.
Well,
Mel Torme for the uninitiated.
Well, did I tell you how I was sort of introduced to Mel Torme? Did I ever tell you that story?
Tell the story. Tell it again.
Well,
I hear it again.
Basically, my house, I mean, I'm not fun, but my house was fun. My grandfather, as a leader of men, was perfectly fine with my friends coming over, and we were all well behaved. In fact, if you wanted to have a beer or something and you're just walking home, that was fine. You know, you could come here and hang out and it'd be great. The problem with that is people don't leave. Okay. Yeah. So I needed people to leave, so I started going through my grandparents' record collection, and I started with John Denver. That was very effective. And then Don Ho, also very effective. But another thing that would just make people want to leave would be Mel Torme, or in this particular case, Mel Torme and George Shearing. And the strange thing is I would listen to this stuff kind of accidentally trying to get rid of people. I started to appreciate it. I started to unironically enjoy it. I actually went to, a Mel Torme concert when I think I was like 18 or 19. Easily 2 generations younger than anybody else there, except for one person. There was a guy in front of me who, basically was there with his new girlfriend who was the same age as his daughter that he had just helped move into the dorms at UCLA. So, you know, it's like 110 degrees at the Mountain Winery, and listening to Mel Torme and George Shearing and having a chat with this guy and his girlfriend, who's like, 20-something years younger than he is. She seemed to manage with the Mel Torme, but I've been a Mel Torme fan for like forever. And then the whole Harry Anderson Night Court thing I thought was actually very charming.
Yeah, I love that too. For that reason, I picked up on that he was a Mel Torme fan.
Yeah, good times. But anyway, though I digress. We're not going to talk about Mel Torme.
No, you had talked about state songs. Texas has a state song.
You do.
We do. And it's not the Yellow Rose of Texas, which is what everybody thinks. And that's what it should be. That should be. They actually considered Yellow Rose of Texas and voted against it. The vote was split between Yellow Rose of Texas and Dixie. Wikipedia article is not quite right about this. Well, it's almost right. Anyway, the tune goes, Texas, our Texas, all hail the mighty state. Texas, our Texas, so wonderful, so great. Boldest and grandest, withstanding every test. O empire wide and glorious, you stand supremely blessed. God bless you, Texas, and keep you brave and strong, that you may grow in power and worth throughout the ages long. Capitalistic superiority. That's us.
I'm just saying
Do y'all
thank
know
you.
what Tennessee is?
Well, I no, I don't know what it
Tennessee
is.
state song.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to do all the states.
No, we're not.
Oh.
It's gonna be a
That
really
reminds me
long
of
thing.
Yakko Warner singing in the States.
No. But what about Tennessee's state song?
Oh, Tennessee, I long to come back home. I guess your dew has settled on my soul. Every day I stayed away, you called my heart back home to stay. Oh, Tennessee, and so forth. That's the Tennessee state anthem. It's so
Bleh.
sad.
It's so
Let's see.
weak.
Yeah.
Tennessee has like 5 things. So they have,
Interstate
my
barbecue.
homeland, Tennessee. These are
Kefki.
all the government
Mhm.
mandated songs that are state songs of Tennessee. One's an anthem, one's like a cantata, one is a round, the state round. My homeland, Tennessee, the homeland poem song. O Tennessee that gave us birth, to thee our hearts bow down, for thee our love and loyalty shall weave a fadeless crown. That poet should be hung. All right, enough of that. When it's Irish time in Tennessee, adopted in 1935 by the Tennessee State Legislature, it was written by a woman who was probably not a feminist. Sweetness of spring memories bring of a place I long to be. Land of sunshine calls this old heart of mine. Come back to Tennessee. Second verse. Rocks in the
Oh,
rills, deep tinted hills. There's no spot so dear to me. Where'er I roam, still it's my sweet home, my own, my Tennessee. But wait, there's more.
No, let's say hi to the chat. Okay. Hi, Green Badger. Let's see. Green Badger, Kiever Dam, 6.
I just want to give Harry
Assassin.
some time to
Frosted
do his
Glass.
chat work.
Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Yeah, Green Badger, Frosted Glass. Oh, Colin Bohannon. Okay. I'm a spy. Excellent.
Assassins here.
Yep.
Hey guys, Kiever Dam.
Raymond Lewis.
Colin Bohannon. How you doing, bud? Raymond Lewis is
Kefki,
here.
if that is her real name. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see.
Sometimes.
All right.
Sometimes
Sometimes.
it's something else.
Well, as you probably know, I think I sent this to you and Prospero already. This is my new favorite thing. This particular channel called Programmers Are Also Human. Did you catch this thing? It was basically he does these joke videos where he pretends to be like an Emacs editor user, a Vim user, a C# programmer.
I've got to look at this.
The parody is so good. I'm gonna play just a tiny bit of it, not a ton of it.
Look at that true IBM.
I'd
PC
like to
he's
present to you my newly made absolute guide to Emacs video. It's around 1.5 years long. I can send it to you via FTP. So,
got. Something by a
Emacs. Huh? Sure, let me just put on the fireplace. So yeah, Emacs. If you make a change to your text and decide that it was a mistake, Emacs got you covered.
Yeah, all text editors do that.
My friend, let me tell you. But Emacs is not a text editor. Emacs is not that hard. You can learn Emacs in one day, every day. How do I write my blog post? Emacs. How do I do my project management? Emacs. DNA sequencing? Emacs.
No, Skep has actually given me a hard time because when we did the quiz episode, the quiz game.
Yes.
I was scoring in Emacs and you just almost died because you're like how ridiculous it is. I use Emacs. I've been using Emacs for decades. I still remember going all the way back to like my first decent-ish computer. I had 2.5 megabytes of memory, And I remember the day when I was able to finally get micro Emacs to run. I was like, oh God, I can run micro Emacs. It's not real Emacs, but I'm so close. You know, that was like, for a long time,
Look and
that was
feel.
just the thing that I had to experience.
The look and feel is just as inconvenient.
Hey, Harry.
Yeah.
Sora wants on. It's
She
Sora
has
Luna.
she has the link. Oh, she's here. Okay.
Oh.
There she is.
Ah,
Okay.
Sora!
Hi, Sora.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
You know, and the thing is that poor young Geodes, you know, he was talking about, like, you know, career stuff, and I've given this advice to a lot of younger people, and I always say the first thing you got to do is pick an editor and learn how to use it. I said you can either use Emacs or you can use 6, which is VI, and then I say I don't care which editor you use, just learn to use it really well, just become really proficient at it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not evangelical about it, but God, I use Emacs constantly. I mean, just hours and hours and hours a day I spend in Emacs.
Well, when I was doing that, I mean, I had Emacs available, but I had learned VI. And once you learn VI, you use it. Use what you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I mean, I was compiling stuff from inside VI. You know, this was like in the 80s.
well, now this whole infrastructure as code thing is going on, right? So instead of deploying systems the way people used to deploy them, all you do is just write a bunch of stuff in Emacs and then run a command, and then whole stacks of applications spring into existence. I mean, if anything, the infrastructure as code is just another reason to use even more Emacs. But in YAML mode, but though I digress, we're not talking about Emacs the whole time. Have any of you seen
5% of the show will be
or
reserved
care
for
about
non-Emacs.
the Barbie movie or the Oppenheimer movie? Have you been following this whole Barbenheimer trend?
I love it. I've seen it around the internet. It's
Okay.
great.
Here, I'll play just a little bit of this because they'll do a much better job of explaining it. Although I'm not really sure why she's wearing that yellow outfit.
Is a big weekend for movie theaters. It's being called
It's not doing what she
Barbenheimer.
thinks it's
That's the
doing.
No, it's not.
Barbie movie and the dark historical Oppenheimer, both open today.
Movie buffs are flocking to theaters to catch the unusual double feature. We caught up with some of them ahead of the screenings today.
What does a movie about a child's toy
Barbie.
and a film about the maker of the atom bomb
See what Christopher Nolan's done here?
have in common?
Kind of dark, gritty, historical biopic in Oppenheimer, and then you have something kind of light, satirical, funny in Barbie.
Not much. And still,
Barbenheimer's real.
the movie opposites, Barbie and Oppenheimer, opening on the same day.
Ever since they announced that they're going to both be on the
Well, other than the fact that they're coincident, and I guess people are surprised at the contrast between the two of them, I don't understand why this Barbenheimer thing is trending. Am I just out of touch, Sora? The answer is yes, but not just out of touch.
It's just because it's funny.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Oh, she, I think her Canadian internet gave away. I'm sure she'll be back. Okay.
Aw.
But,
Sora said God unplugged her.
yeah, it's okay. Probably, but as long as she's back by the time we talk about the auditor. So I've seen a number of different reviews. Some people say the Barbie thing is actually good or funny or amusing. Like, not a movie a guy would go to unless he was sort of on a date, but, you know, passable. The Critical Drinker gave it a review that reminded me a lot of Roger Ebert's review of the movie North. It was an absolutely scathing review of that movie. And I generally find that his reviews are pretty spot on. So I'm not really sure what to think, but be that as it may, I guess if you want to spend the day,
45 minutes on it.
if you want to spend the day at the movie theater watching two movies and have them be completely different, okay,
Yeah.
sure, Barbenheimer.
Everything I've heard about the Barbie movie makes me think I would cringe if I was forced to sit through that. It just looks awful. Everybody is saying the Oppenheimer movie, on the other hand, is worth seeing, at least worth seeing. And interestingly enough, on the Barbie movie, which is very much about the LGBT P plus whatever the all the things are.
Mm-hmm.
It very much pushes that agenda to the point where, you know, Kens are the worst, and you know all the males are the worst possible things, and it would be better if the world would just run by Barbie, and of course the president is a black female lesbian, of course, because
of course,
you know, it's just painful to contemplate, and of course on Rotten Tomatoes it has 91% favorable on the critics who they've chosen to publish.
Mm-hmm.
91% favorable, and the pans are very, very mild that they've chosen to publish. So it's extremely popular with the critics, evidently, and they're not publishing user reviews right now.
Oh well, then that's completely useless. Yeah. So, okay.
Did you know that if you burn a Barbie, the legs and arms are the last thing to go? Well, the body too, but the head bubbles up really fast and it melts. It's really cool.
Nice.
It's just like people.
Now, if you were going to, you know, like sort of like Tumblr, if you're going to ship dolls, right? It wouldn't be Barbie and Ken. I'm sure that the Kirk Mego figure would find its way somewhere in there. Just push Ken out of the way and just kind of take Ken's place. Because I could see Kirk and Barbie, you know, that seems like a thing.
Oh yeah, the Mego figures are big, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Ken seems kind of like, you know, a non-entity.
Well, yeah, he's basically Barbie's NPC boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so he's plug and play. So
I think he might be a beard.
He's an accessory.
He might be
He's
the
an
beard.
accessory.
Might really be
why
Barbie and
I
Skipper.
Skipper's her sister.
Oh, see, I don't know anything.
That's her teen sister.
Okay. I thought it was her friend.
It's also her meth hookup.
Okay. So you were saying, Sora, before we disturbed your universe?
I'm just thinking, I'm sure there's a video out there, but...
He's Skipper.
I think, isn't that one of the themes of this movie? Isn't it supposed to be like, everyone's like, oh, she's Barbie, and he's just Ken, and he's wanting to take control of that or something?
Oh, yeah, exactly. He wants to take over the world and run it as a dictatorship with walls, building walls everywhere, because that's what men do. They build walls, big, beautiful walls.
So have any of you seen Josie and the Pussycats, the movie?
Yes.
So that movie, in my opinion, excellent movie, because it's very subversive and it's very funny, and it does not take itself too seriously at all.
No,
it's very, very good.
Yeah.
Is it Piper Posey, the villain?
Parker Posey.
Parker Posey, yes.
Yeah, who almost never does anything other than like stupid art films and stuff, but she decided that was enough fun that she came in. And Ian Cummings, the guy who played Nightshade in the Marvel things, he was in there as well. No, that's actually a really good movie. I think in an ideal world, that's what the Barbie movie would be like. Kind of subversive and funny, but I don't think Greta Gerwig can pull it off. I was looking at Greta Gerwig, the director's IMDb page, and I guess one of her writing credits is the new Snow White movie. So, okay. Snow White and the 7 highly diverse people.
This is funny because if I mean, I'm not interested in the remakes, so whatever. But the costuming is beautiful. So if you look at the photos of the costumes of both the Barbie movie and Snow White movie, beautiful costumes, fun, everything looks great. So basically, she's just someone who hires, like, or whoever the hiring person is, does costuming and sets very well, and that's about it. That's all you're getting. Visuals, no substance. With her movies. I don't know.
Yeah, well, people were making the comparison. Oh, well, they've got these two movies coming out, both with great directors. One is Christopher Nolan, and the other one is Greta Gerwig. It's like, are we drawing an equivalency here? Really? I mean, Nolan is, he's I don't know if he's A tier or S tier, but Gerwig seems like she's kind of B tier. But, maybe I'm just being salty. Can't tell for sure. But everything in entertainment is kind of terrible. I was looking at this thing with the strike that's going on with the Writers Guild and all these people. And, Disney's been trying to cut expenses for like the last 5 months. But it seems to me that this maybe is not an ideal time to be going on strike. Either that or Disney has masterfully manipulated the narrative surrounding all this stuff to make them seem poorer than they actually are. But considering what that will do to investors, I don't think that's worth it just for a union negotiating thing.
No,
yeah.
no, they would never do that.
That would be a terrible idea.
The cost of capital would ruin us.
Yeah.
And what they pay for money.
But but this is not the time to be trying to rake Disney and companies like it over the coals.
Yeah, it's unions are, you never need a union. You never like a union. You never need a union until you really need a union. And most of the time, they function as a largely parasitic organization. I wish unions would form when, employees get together and have a meeting and say, okay, we're going to have a union. We're going to, vote to either continue work or not work because we don't like our conditions for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And have it be on a case-by-case basis. But people won't make that much effort. That's part of it. And unions prey on that. They say, hey, we'll take all that. All you got to do is pay us. Pay us a little out of your paycheck. You'll never know. So be a member of the union will make you feel good. The serotonin will flow at union meetings. You'll feel great. We have all the best songs. You're going to love being in the union. And,
Tefke read the headline. No,
stole 200,000 cream eggs is jailed. You think he would at least look nauseated?
I mean, okay, I'm still trying to understand.
Store them?
Well, he sort of didn't. Okay. So this guy is 32 years old. He's in the UK. And see, he basically turned himself in. I think because he realized that he was about to have a really big mess on his hand with all of these eggs that were going to be a problem. But 200,000 of those eggs only has a value of 31,000 pounds, which I found to be kind of interesting. He essentially stole like a trailer that was loaded full of these things from the Cadbury factory, and then I think at some point realized the folly of his plan and just turned himself in.
That was step A.
Yeah. Step A, but then turning it all into profit turned out to be a real problem. I don't see why somebody would think that this would be a good idea. I mean, how would you, what would step 2 be in this? Yeah, I think it was
an
too.
impulse crime of opportunity where some little old guy who never done anything big in his whole life, he said, I could take that whole thing of cream eggs. If it was in Texas, that's what it would sound like. I will hook my pickup truck, that big old trailer, drive it on out of here.
Yeah,
I think that's what he did.
Well, it's got a shelf life of what, maybe 3 months, and you'd look awfully suspicious by the side of the road, just like setting up like a little stand where you're just selling discount cream eggs.
Yes, I'm a cream egg fancier.
Yeah,
I really like them.
A corner. Yeah, I'm getting ahead on preparations for next Easter.
Right. I went long cream eggs, and I had to take delivery.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I need to complain about my state for a moment. They've come up with a fantastic plan. You're going to love this, Skep. What they're doing is they're taking all of the state-run juvenile detention facilities and closing them. so they can send all of the junior offenders back to the counties that they came from. Because the theory is that by putting them closer to their families, that that this is going to be fantastic. So here's this little story. Here's the district attorney that's dealing with these returning people coming into Sacramento County.
Murder, these are robberies, attempted murder, manslaughter, kidnap.
Assistant Chief Deputy District Attorney Rochelle Beardsley goes through the caseload returned to her office from the California Division of Juvenile Justice.
You know, just
It's
regular
changed the
kids.
juvenile justice system as far as sentencing is concerned, as far as what the focus is.
Beardsley runs the Juvenile Hall Division and is overseeing numerous cases that have already been to trial and convicted. Now the juveniles will get new sentencing hearings since they've been moved back to the Sacramento Youth Detention Facility from state facilities.
Because why not, right, Skep? Those kids, you know, there are no bad kids. There's just kids that haven't been given a chance to. No, there's no such thing as a bad kid. Oh wait, those are dogs.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
They're bad kids, and they are coming back. And let me tell you what will happen. And I used to take AA meetings out to one of the largest regional jails in Texas, and in Mineral Wells, and places like that. They are already, I guarantee you, they are stuffed to the gills prisoners. They never overbuild at the county level. What they're trying to do is route people through the court system. They're only supposed to be there for the court system. These are long-term sentences that are going to come back, and here's what's going to happen. The DA is going to go to the judges and say, you know, we don't have a place to keep them. We cannot keep them humanely. And one of the things about our system of flaws is that if you can't keep a prisoner humanely, you can't keep him. You have to release him. You have to find other arrangements. You can confine him other ways, home confinement or something like that. But you have to work that out. And this is going to be a tremendous administrative burden. It's going to result in effectively criminals who are motivated and capable of doing real harm in these communities. It's going to poison these communities. It's really a shame. This is really tragic.
It is tragic, and it's also just getting rid of yet another disincentive. You know, you want to send a clear message to these kids that, no, I mean, you can't, just because you're under 18, you can't run around killing people.
Right.
That's not okay. Maybe your brain isn't fully formed, but we're thinking that possibly that concept might be something you can understand. It's not okay. It's not just about rehabilitation of these kids. It's about the deterrence to the other kids. I mean, yeah, I'd like to see people be rehabilitated, but I'm much more interested in preventing the next kid from murdering somebody by whatever means.
California is going to have to admit that it has a problem. In some ways, it's a little bit like an alcoholic. California has to admit it has a problem, and then start getting busy and doing something about it, doing something every day about its problem. It's got to get over itself. It has to have streets that people can walk down. It has to have cities where people can reasonably expect to walk down the street and not be molested. And there just is too much of California, too much the beautiful part of California. It breaks my heart that is like this, and it's not accessible to people. That's just detracts from us nationally, as far as I'm concerned, having a place in the shape that California is. It's like a third world country in some of those places.
Certainly getting that way. I was looking at the comments in chat. Frosted Glass said, "Is she reading my schedule?" Are you alluding to like the scene in Blazing Saddles where they're trying to recruit hooligans to go after Rock Ridge? The guy's listing all of the crimes that he's guilty of.
Yeah.
I don't think I should even say what the one that he listed twice. But yes, I absolutely get it. Let's see. Now, Skep, you're totally behind on this particular story, so you don't even know what's been going on in Santa Cruz. But an otter...
it's gone downhill since I left.
An otter has been attacking surfers and chewing on their surfboards and commandeering them from
Do
the
we have
servers. So
do we have an update?
we have an update on the otter news. So here's an update about
This is
otter.
awesome.
By the way, the otter's name is Otter 841. So now we have a name for the little bastard.
It's his prisoner number.
Otter managed to evade capture again today. Her story is now leading to otter mania, but that otter known as Otter 841 is now considered a public health risk,
Oh,
and
no.
wildlife experts won't give up until she's captured. Another day and another failed attempt to capture the sea otter known as Otter 841. Despite multiple attempts to capture her, wildlife experts are now thinking of Plan B.
We have been brainstorming.
Yeah, you keep
and
doing that.
We've got some very great techniques that we've used in the past that
No,
have
you
been very
don't.
successful.
No,
You're not going to
That's
do
failed.
anything. It's a marine mammal. It's protected 50,000 different ways. You're going to do nothing. Unless it's like literally rabid.
Go to another beach.
The game
what
of
a bunch
cat
of
and mouse
losers.
between the otter and wildlife experts now going on a month since it was seen jumping on surfboards, even biting them near Steamer's Lane in
Otter
Santa
chaos.
Cruz. The concern,
Otter
she might
don't give no
actually
shit.
bite someone.
This
But
is
the
the new
otter's
honey badger.
effort to evade capture just seems to put her in the spotlight even more.
I'm from the Midwest, so it's a bunch of my Midwest folk. They're like, have you seen the otter?
Okay. Along those lines, the
Oh
otter.
my god, I'm from like the Midwest.
I've checked, and the otter has the news has actually gone international now. So it's being covered nationally. All over the country, people are talking about Otter 841, and even in the UK.
She's from the Midwest.
She is. So we talked about how the sea otters are important to the economy of the Central Coast. Well, turns out Otter 841 is giving the local economy a nice little boost.
Aaron, that's right. Otter 841 is a celebrity, drawing folks from all around the world. But right now, many are trying to capitalize on her fame. Otter 841 has quickly become
look
a
at that
phenomenon.
fame.
Ever since the viral video back in mid-June, folks from around the world have made their way to
bite
Westcliff
the
Drive
shit
to
out
try
of
and get a
you.
peek at Santa Cruz's most wanted sea otter.
I'm up here visiting friends, but also
just
I
was
heard about
having the
841 and I thought I would come up and try to steal
And
a
wait,
glance
there's
and see
merch.
out in the wild.
The craze is turning into dollar signs for some, choosing to capitalize on the otter's popularity. Shirts, jackets, mugs, and
He
more
made for one.
can be
Oh my
found
God, I love
online
it.
with a
Otter my way, dude.
quick Google search.
I like this one.
This is excellent. Beautiful.
So, yeah, Skep. So that's what's been going on while you've been away.
It just, I don't even know what to say.
This is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's not like a joke video about Emacs, but I mean, it's for things that don't involve Emacs. It is the best thing ever.
Absolutely. I was hoping for a picture of the otter actually crawled on a surfboard because, you know, they do stuff like that. Otters are fun. They're cute things. Are smart. I thought there might be a picture of an otter surfing. That would be awesome.
Oh, there are pictures of otters surfing, but
I'm
you
certain
missed those
there are.
because you were gone.
Yeah, I was gone. I was body surfing.
I know.
Body surfing in 2-foot seas.
Well, here's the thing that.
Okay.
So go.
Wait, before we leave,
Oh, please. Go.
I'm searching Otter 841 on Etsy.
Mhm.
And there's a bunch of postings of freedom for 841. It's fantastic. I
Wow.
love this.
Free
Team
the otter.
841, freedom for the otter. Yeah.
Yeah, free the otter. We gotta
Girls just want to have fun. Freedom for 841. Oh my god, I kind of want to buy that T-shirt.
Yeah, I think
is
this. I think
fantastic.
this is great. This is pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
I like that picture of the otter.
I feel like I need to drive to Santa Cruz and see if I can get some video of the otter.
See if the lesbians will let you take some video of their town.
Well, you know,
It's their town, you know.
well, I mean, as long as rugby practice is in process, the streets should be relatively empty.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So speaking of things that should make Skep angry, loan officer, I'm seeing middle-class homebuyers take on $7,000 mortgages thinking they can always refinance when rates come down in the future. because that's what responsible people do. So this article is basically saying, just before speaking with Fortune Downs, the broker wrapped up a call with a middle-class couple in Washington, D.C. area who told him they were expecting a mortgage payment of around $7,000. The call I just had was a typical area household. One person makes $150,000, the other $120,000, so $270K total. There'd be a down payment of $7,000. I'm still not used to hearing people say that out loud. Even before these borrowers speak to Downs, who operates in the greater Baltimore area in Washington, D.C., they have concluded that the high mortgage payments will be short-lived and they'll simply refinance to a lower payment once mortgage rates presumably come down.
You know what those people are doing? You know what in the mortgage business, you know what we call people like that?
Please, go on.
Renters.
Renters?
They're renting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll lose their house.
Yeah.
They will lose their house. Those are extremely problematic, high probability of having to fix the loan and take the house away.
I think what they need is like an adjustable rate mortgage with like a teaser rate at the beginning, and then after 3 years, it then floats back up to somewhere.
Depends on the person, where they are in their career. You can do that, with young people, but that's not appropriate for somebody who's, on their second house, is making the big step up.
Also, 1% down. Oof, my goodness.
1% down. The great thing about VA loans was that you could buy a house with no money down.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't want to because you get clobbered by the mortgage, but you could technically not. You could have zero down payment. The first house I bought was with a VA loan. I had a small amount of money. My down payment was like $3,000. It was on a $39,000 house in rural Spokane, Washington, in 1979. Right, so now everybody is in on it. The reason that the VA extended that was because they thought that veterans were good bets, better than average bets to pay off a loan. They take responsible loans, which by and large they did. Veterans used to be like that.
It's like they're disciplined or something.
Yeah, weird. So now they're saying, well, no, we can find ways to absorb the losses so that and mask the losses and make it disappear into the big falderall of the economy, so that only the experts really know what's going on. And that really is true to a great extent. So and that way we can offer this to all these people and commit and collect all these, first year loan commissions, and the loan salesmen, love that. They get rich off that. And the companies who sell those, they sell the loan, keep the servicing. Colonial Savings turned into an $8 billion company. $7 billion of that was loan servicing. The second biggest loan servicer after Countrywide in the United States.
Yeah. Well, another thing happened while you were away, Skep, which is, I guess Facebook decided to launch their little Zuckerberg clone of Twitter, which is Threads.
Mm-hmm.
So it appears that Threads user engagement is dropping rapidly. And by engagement, meaning the number of people who are actually using their damn service as opposed to signed up. This graph, which starts at July 6th and ends at July 17th, tells, I think, a pretty dismal story.
Oh, man.
That is not good.
Okay, so you got...
That's like Call of Duty MMO bad.
Right. You had 45 at one point, and you have had a 75% attrition in 11 days, Harry.
I know.
You know what the trend line. Forget about that little upswing. Forget that data point. Just start with the top and go all the way down. You know that the trend line is a bobsled to zero, basically.
Yeah.
To asymptotic to the x-axis.
Well, the whole adding, the tone of this is weird, this article. Threads user engagement continues to drop, adding urgency for new features. Well, urgency for who? Urgency for Threads or urgency for the good people who don't want to use Twitter? Because this kind of feels like they got very giddy for a moment. Like, oh yeah, we're going to stick it to that Republican simp over on Twitter. Because now Zuckerberg's come to the rescue with Threads, and they got very, very excited. And now that it's sort of imploding, I feel like they've lost their hero. You know, sort of like how I felt when General Petraeus turned out not to be a disciplined soldier with admirable personal traits, and instead just hooked up with Paula Broadwell, and ruined his marriage and his career and everything else. It's like, dude, you too.
But it was, you know, when he turned out to be a douchebag, and unfortunately, there are officers, even senior officers, who are douchebags, and they sometimes are found out, and other times silently pass through this world with their indiscretions undiscovered. Petraeus was hoping that would happen, but Lord was good to us.
Sorry, did you say Cap Weinberger? Sorry, I forgot. I misheard there for a moment. You said Petraeus. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a thing. Let's see. Let's move on to the next thing. I mean, has anybody else in this chat actually used this fine service? This Threads
I have
thing?
not used Threads. I've stayed away from Threads.
Has anybody in chat? Let's see. Threads is the most horrifying. Yeah, exactly. No, this is just terrible. I mean, I don't care about Threads. Twitter seems perfectly It's like. Well, I was looking at. I mean, if you look at the statistics, like Twitter, breaking news and national news and international news tends to break on places like Twitter. So a lot of people are there because they want to know about this stuff. Facebook seems to have kind of cornered the market on a lot of local stuff. So, for instance, local news or local governments or local businesses will have a Facebook page. And so sort of very local stuff for like grandmas, like bake sales and things. That kind of stuff tends to sort of stay on Facebook. So, I mean, Twitter's, for better or worse, seems to really kind of have the right formula for that micro blogging, you know, quick acting communication thing, for better or worse. So Threads, to take its place, you have to either really hate Elon or you have to actually provide a better service. And it just doesn't sound like Threads is anything more than just kind of an afterthought. But, you know, it's not like Zuckerberg can't hire smart people to make it better. The question is, how would he make it better? How would you essentially replace Twitter? It would almost be like you need to look at fixing the content gap in terms of the national and the international stuff. They'd have to do something to basically replace the draw that Twitter has. Just thinking out loud. And just offering an alternative service doesn't seem to do enough in that regard.
The competitive momentum that Twitter has is way too much for an upstart that does not have a distinctive advantage. You can't have just the same distinctive competency that Twitter has, because you only get the, like you said, the Elon haters.
Yeah.
You have to offer not just additional functionality. That doesn't work either. You've got to offer additional benefit to the user. It's worth talking about what the difference is between a feature and a benefit. You know, feature is this does something extra. A benefit is this does something better for the customer. This makes the customer happy in some way directly. It's a cause of happiness. And if you can offer a cause of customer happiness that Twitter does not have and faces some impossible or hard barrier to, you know, enter into competition with what you're innovating, then yeah, you'll have a chance against Twitter. If you don't do that, if you can't do that, then Twitter has to kill itself. Yeah,
I think just at a bare minimum, aside from just being technically good, they need to essentially woo a significant number of the top world news organizations to get them to start focusing more on Facebook and less on Twitter. Then they could essentially undermine a lot of the appeal that Twitter has for like the people that get their news from it.
Yeah, be careful. You know, I agree with you. That would be the strategy. You know, be careful when you do that, of course, because you can wind up just marginalizing yourself.
Oh yeah, there's so many different ways you can shoot yourself in the testicles, foot, groin, whatever.
So many targets, so little time.
So I ran across one of those stupid ads, and I saw it, and it was one of these things that basically said, did your hair straightener give you cancer? Contact us and we'll get you a big pile of money. And I'm like, oh God, this sounds so dreadful. So I, of course, decided I'm going to actually follow the link that's on this ad and see if I can find something out about the people that are pushing this lawsuit thing. So here's the front page of the law firm that's putting this out here. I feel like there's a certain demographic that they're trying to work with here with their hair straightener based lawsuits and stuff. And that's just sort of the typical, bullshit lawyer type of stuff that they've got here. You can start your case in 2 to 5 minutes, Skep. I didn't know that suing people was so easy.
I have not had that much trouble with my hair straightener.
Yeah. But
start your case in 2 to 5 minutes here at Cheatham and Steele.
Tweet Cheatham and Howe.
Yeah, right. Here's what we do. We take a bunch of these cases and we say, we're going to represent you then. The day before your court date comes up, you're going to hear from us and we're going to say, we're sorry, we're not going to be able to represent you. And we're sending you a refund of a part of your premium. And that is going to shut you up. And then we're going to take the 2 or 3 cases that actually have a chance of getting a judgment, and we'll take those to trial. And fuck you very much. That's what this is.
Yeah, and I'm not mocking anybody's pain here. This just seems very predatory in the way this is going. So I actually took the time again, because I'm very thorough when I do my research on these things, to find the NIH published thing that they were referring to that supposedly is the basis for this whole lawsuit. And I don't think most people involved in this class action suit would take the time to do any of this. But hair straightening chemicals associated with higher uterine cancer risk. Okay, associated. We estimate that 1.64% of women who never use hair straighteners would go on to develop uterine cancer by the age of 70. But for frequent users, the risk goes up to 4.05%.
What is the cause? What is the specific cause? What is it in the hair straightening chemical that actually causes them to have cancer?
I don't know. It's probably the patriarchy. This doubling rate is concerning, however. It is important to put this information into context. Uterine cancer is a relatively rare type of cancer. Approximately 60% of the participants who reported using straighteners in the previous year were self-identified Black women, according to a study published in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute. Although the study did not find that the relationship between straightener use and uterine cancer incidence was different by race, the adverse health effects may be greater for Black women due to higher prevalence of use. Okay, again, this is just trying to racialize something where race doesn't really enter it. Human beings exposed to chemicals might develop cancer. That's what the thing is. And they just say, blah, 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 Black women most affected. The researchers did not collect information on brands or ingredients in their hair products the women used. However, in the paper, they noted that several chemicals have been found in straighteners, such as parabens, bisphenol A, metals, and formaldehyde, could be contributing to the increased uterine cancer risk observed.
So they have not taken any. Yeah. So there's a lot of women who do chemical relaxers, right?
Yes.
And they've been on the who knows what kind of damage that is doing to them, right? For those kind of stuff. But they have not taken that into account. They're just focusing on, oh yeah, they're only straightening their hair, and okay, good luck.
Is everybody clear on how hair straightener works? Do you know how a hair straightener basically works? it eats holes or little cavities in the hair. The reason hair is curly is because it comes out of a follicle that's shaped like an oval. It's not shaped round. Straight hair comes out of a round follicle. That's the only difference. That's the only thing that determines whether you'll have wavy, curly, or straight hair. The hair itself is made out of a chemical called peptides. I can talk for hours about this, so tell me if I'm
No. But there's no causal link here, nor have they done any of the work to sort of figure out what other things might be in this group of people who straighten their hair.
The peptides
there's so
don't
many
have it.
variables.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Skep.
Putting something on your hair, that isn't going to do it. It would have to touch you in some other ways. You'd have to ingest it, which you certainly could. Some would be aerosolized, like in the shower or something, and or it, you could touch it, other things like that. But the chances of this being the causal factor among, populations that are that you don't kind of pre-treat statistically for other predispositions is the best way I can say it. There are different levels of health depending on your level of affluence, for example. There's just too many moving parts. There are way too many moving parts to lay this at the foot of a hair straightener. This is a gimmick to generate losses.
It is. If you compared the women who were, say, black women who developed the uterine cancer, who straightened their hair, and compared them to other black women of the same age, social class, living in similar areas, just, made everything as similar as possible, who did not straighten their hair. So there was literally just, one variable difference between them. And you compared those groups and found a higher incidence. Then you might start saying, okay, so which brands tend to cause things and which ones didn't? This huge paintbrush thing, along with this sort of, white guilt because it's affecting black women more than it is other groups, right? All of this stuff added up. It's just a huge money grab by the nice people at the Trexel law firm. We're so far away from it's time to sue people because they did something wrong that it's not even funny.
Interesting results among 208,000 women diagnosed with uterine cancer during 2017. 7.7% were Asian. 9.7% were black. 9.7% were black. 11.1% Hispanic. Hispanics more likely by 20% to get uterine cancer than blacks. And 71.5 because that's based on the relative population size. I did a little something on the side here. And 71.5%. So whites were really underrepresented. Blacks were appropriately represented. So were Hispanics. Asians were overrepresented. Oh yeah, way overrepresented. Interesting.
Yeah, but lawyers got a lawyer.
This is a very slippery statistic right here.
It is a very slippery statistic. But
any faith in
if they wanted to go after somebody for a reason, they could do something like this. So this is the Red Up Far Infrared Negative Ions wristband. Limited time discount last day. By the way, it was also yesterday was the last day and the day before when I found this thing. It's been the last day for a while. It's like Groundhog Day. It's always on sale. So this bracelet...
It wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't magic, Harry.
I know, but look at what this bracelet does,
Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah. I had a bad fall 5 months ago, which caused increased edema caused by a cluster of varicose veins in both my legs, blah, 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 blah. It's somebody from Ontario, Canada. She lost 54 pounds with the magic bracelet because I'm not even sure what infrared negative ions are supposed to be.
Don't you remember do you guys remember the infomercials for the Q bracelet? that it's supposed to be magnetic.
It's got like
back
copper or
in the
something.
90s.
Bracelets.
Tommy Copper.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that
Just
what
that,
this is?
but the newest. Probably.
It looks like a hospital bracelet.
It's supposed
but
to.
black.
Those ones were supposed to help you like golf better, or something. That's what I remember from the infomercial.
Sure. Why?
Oh, no,
Why
does it
not?
magically cure back pain?
Yeah,
it
it
that?
does.
I need it.
Yeah.
I need it. I need this.
Yeah, you should get one of them. Get it like
How much
3 or
is
4 of them, and then make a little belt out of them. Then that would be even better.
Ooh, and I could put it around my waist.
You could put it
and
around
that
your
would kill
waist
my back
and-
pain. Hot damn, you're a genius, Harry.
Yeah.
And they, you know what? They look kind of pretty, so I can see it being a very cool accessory belt too. So yeah, there you go.
If you wear it while you're pregnant, it'll make your kids smarter.
Wait, what?
It's obstetric humor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is the next thing? Is the next thing funny? No, the next thing is terrible. Okay, we need a palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser. Okay, here is a palate cleanser. It is. Oh, stupid geodes.
What did he do?
It was a video of 2 raccoons trying to open a door. Hold on a second. Let me see. I can get this.
That's so cute. The one they were like hoppy.
I can
and
get
they're
this
so
via
fat.
different means. Okay, let's see.
Everyone.
So you've seen this one?
Fields. Yeah.
Okay.
It's wonderful. It's lovely.
Nope, doesn't exist. Crap. Okay. Well, I guess we don't get to see that then, do we?
If you want a palate cleanser, you could hop over to my Twitter. I have a cute video of a ferret. Of course, I have a cute video of a ferret.
You, a ferret?
I have 5,000 cute videos of ferrets.
I have another palate cleanser all lined up. So, are you familiar with let's see, Francois Bourgeois? I can't pronounce his name. Shemp. He's the guy in the UK that chases trains around and gets very excited. It's very wholesome. It's all about the love of a boy and trains. So I found a little bit more stuff with him. So a little more of his backstory. I thought you might want to see.
I've seen that people have been doubting my authenticity and whether I'm actually a train spotter.
That's a
mainly
great
because
jacket.
of images when I was younger. I'd like to take you back to that time. I started a new school in year 7 and my favourite thing to do after school was come home and play with my model railway. But I realised I was experiencing feelings of loneliness, so I decided to try and fit in a bit more at school. I gelled my hair up and decided to sell my model railway in order to fund my gym membership.
There's a mistake.
I even wore roadman clothes, but it wasn't me and
You
it
never
wasn't
sell
making me
your
happy
trains
at all. Lockdown happened, my hair grew out, and I reclaimed my love for trains through my videos. And honestly, running down platforms and chasing trains really feels like the shackles are off and I'm totally free. I've met wonderful friends, and honestly, life is so much more pure now I've reconnected with my passion.
Train spotters come in all different shapes and sizes. Could even wear a True Religion jeans jacket and some Nike Air Max.
Now, see, isn't that lovely?
Really a nice smile.
It is. And so here's one of his recent train things.
It's been flipping bonkers recently, so I've decided to come to my hometown and do what I love most, and that's chasing quarry trains. Just gonna jump down to here. It's so ominous coming out the tunnel like this. Oh my
god! He's literally chasing it. The thing is,
so nice.
it's just so pure.
This is so like wholesome.
It's so
I love
pure.
it.
There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say that's negative about it, other than maybe you should rethink this camera angle. But hey, for him, it actually works. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I loved anything as much as he. Well, I mean, I love Emacs as much as he loves trains, but you know, it's
it's a narrow love interest.
I mean, you know, Emacs.
Yeah. Well, at least you can cuddle up to it at night.
Yeah.
The warm glow of a screen.
Well, I mean, I still remember, gosh, what it was like when I had a phone that had like a little keyboard that slid out on it and it was running Linux. You know what the first thing I did was I loaded Emacs on it.
Right.
Get that freeze, that camera on his head. He's all warped. He looks like Moth from the Goonies.
He does look like a Goonie. He does. He really does.
Okay, so this next one, I can't figure out if it's maddening or if it's good. I think it might actually be good if you look at it the right way. I am disgusted. Teacher berates Muslim students for skipping Pride events.
Dude.
Now, on the one hand, I mean, I think that using like religion as the means for making these kinds of decisions seems kind of weak. I think that you can have an opinion about this without necessarily having to have your imam or your priest or somebody tell you what to think. But at the same time, if it's voluntary and they don't have to go, why is it that the teacher's feelings are the important thing? Why is it that we need to make the teachers feel good? Why is it? Why
Because
should
that's what
it?
schools have become. Schools are monuments to teachers.
They are.
Children
They're the real heroes,
are there.
Skep.
They're the real heroes, and they're the ones the schools are there for. The children are cargo. The children are carried through school. They are programmed, but the teachers are where the excellence and goodness, the true goodness of liberal thought.
Well, why don't we listen to the audio of this disappointed teacher talking to the students? This is, we're not going to listen to all of it because it's unbearable, but maybe a little bit.
I want to take a couple minutes to express to you some of my feelings about yesterday. How many of you came to school yesterday?
Doesn't she just sound like, she doesn't sound like an authority figure to me. She sounds like she's fragile and wounded.
What's that?
I don't know. It's an elementary teacher. An elementary teacher in Windsor, Ontario, berated Muslim students for skipping LGBTQ Pride Day.
If she's elementary, I'm going to assume that's her class. She has all day.
Yeah, telling them
that's her
their abstention was disgusting and an incredible show of hatred that makes her not want to be their educator. Well, it's your job. You whether or not you want them in your class or not, it's your job. This is literally why you get paid to show up.
If I were the principal, I'd go to her and say, "I'm here for you. I am here for you. You should not have to deal with this, and we're going to make that so."
Yeah.
And I would make it so that she didn't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah.
Fire her.
At school. I would fire her ass right. This would be one and done. There are some things. There's some things in management you have to define, and you have to say this crosses the line, and that crosses the line.
Yes.
That does.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Talk about disgusting. That teacher is disgusting.
Yeah.
To talk to children that way, elementary school children, she's disgusting.
Well, she speaks for the whole staff. She says, "We as a staff at Northwood were incredibly hurt by the statement you made yesterday. For those of you who didn't come, and for those of you who were here, I apologize. You need to understand how hurt and disappointed we are in these actions. Nobody in the school is asking you to be gay. We are just asking you to be respectful and kind. That is it. And yesterday, you did not show respect and kindness, and I am disgusted."
Well, the prophet who speaks for my version of God told me I wasn't supposed to go, or I would burn in eternal hellfire. I'm so goddamn sorry. You're so disappointed and so disgusted. But you being disgusted and me burning in hellfire, fuck you.
But it's optional.
Those aren't equal.
It's optional.
Yeah.
It's optional. Burning in hell. My imam said.
It's the other kind of optional. It's the mandatory optional, where if you don't actually show up, because really most of this stuff doesn't belong in schools anyway. People should be able to live their lives however they want to live them. Great. Don't care.
Why do we have pride parades in school?
Yeah. Well, they put up.
How did she know the kid wasn't being respectful by not showing up, being respectful
No, it was
and not
multiple.
showing
It was
up
multiple
and not being
kids.
nasty there?
No, they had a bunch of kids who just didn't show up. So it was sort of like a Hillary Clinton rally. They had a pride thing, and there was just nobody there.
Stayed away in droves.
So they decided that that because of this, it was necessary to just really rainbow up the school. So they their action was to essentially berate the students who didn't show up, and then just put as many rainbows as possible to try to fix the problem. It's sort of like feng shui. If you have bad feng shui, you put a mirror or a water feature somewhere. But if you have bad LGBT feng shui, you just throw extra rainbows up. It solves everything.
Construction paper will fix everything.
Yeah.
Yes, Virginia.
All right. Oh, maybe somebody can. Okay, this seems like a good thing to ask Sora about. Plastic surgeon who live streamed procedures on TikTok banned from practicing medicine in Ohio.
Yeah.
A plastic surgeon who
Is this the
live
woman?
streamed
Yeah.
procedures on TikTok has been banned from practicing medicine. The Ohio Medical
She
Board
did
voted to
so
permanently
much
revoke
bad.
the license of Dr. Catherine Graw, known as Dr. Roxy to her followers. The board
She
determined Graw harmed
did so many
patients while live
perforations.
streaming their surgeries. On
Oh, I
TikTok,
heard
Graw
about her,
spoke into
yeah.
a camera
Oh,
and answered
God.
viewer questions while the
I'm glad
surgeries
she's in
were
trouble.
taking place.
She was taking viewer questions during the surgery.
Some of the ways she did her lipo was so violent and so terrible, and there was the amount of a lot of these cosmetic procedures, there's a lot of risks to them, but her patients were suffering greater amount of complications than normal for the kind of procedures. Yeah, perforations, like she would be puncturing where she wasn't because she was so rough, wasn't paying, more paying attention to social media than to her patient. Oh, that I'm not sure. It was more so because part of, if you ever see how people do like liposuction and they basically saw back and forth sucking up, that was where the perforations were coming from.
I've been there up close and personal. Yes.
Yeah,
Seen
so
it
that
done. It was not done on me. I was standing in the operating theater.
Okay, can you unpack this for me though? So is the issue that she televised it, or is the issue that she commented while she broadcast it, or is the issue that she did a crappy job on the surgery, or that she let people know that that's what these surgeries are like? I still don't understand what's the issue here.
Okay.
It's all going to depend on, did you get informed consent from your patient that you will be doing this? Were they being compensated? So free plastic surgery if she can do whatever she wants on them because of TikTok. Because in general, filming any sort of medical operation for education purposes is important and should be allowed. But then if she's claiming that's what she's doing, but in actuality is disclosing more private medical information of the patient than was supposedly disclosed, is very bad, because it's going to be a fine line between what is okay to disclose and what is not. And also she would have probably done bad practice as well.
Well, in Ohio, it could also be advertising, right? I mean, could it be that she's advertising in a way that's not allowed by the medical board as well? Because that's what it feels like. This TikTok thing is more like advertising.
I think what happened was this woman who is obviously, I guess this is a private practice. She was, basically operating without any checks and balances on her. It's true of a lot of surgeons, actually. And finally, people started looking at her. Let me tell you, if this woman was doing miraculously amazing surgery with great outcomes and low adhesion perforation rates and all the other things that come out of surgery, instead of people with 18,000 drains hanging out of them because she drew so fucking much blood, they'd have to wait for it to clot before they could start to heal. I know exactly the kind of problem you're talking about, Sora. And that I think if she was doing amazing surgery and none of that was happening, this would be absolutely fine. She'd be hailed as a hero. That's what happens. We make surgeons into rock stars. But it turns out she was doing shoddy work, and boy, that is. And one thing the public loves to do is to come down. Ha! Surgeon thought she was so high and mighty, and that's a very popular thing, very easy thing politically for everyone to do, and so the world fell in on her head, as it should have, That's what I think happened.
Okay. Well, now I understand better. I was a little confused by it. I was like, okay, of the 50 different things I can imagine that she did wrong, which ones are the ones that got her to lose her license?
Right.
She can't practice medicine in Ohio for a while.
I had heard that she was so distracted by the questions in the TikTok that she wasn't paying proper attention and caused issues with these people. Yeah.
She needs to, as they say with failed MDs, doing unspecified research. Has left private practice and has gone on to do unspecified private research. Okay.
All right. Well, moving on. Google.
No fries with that?
Google restricting internet access to some employees to reduce cyber attack risk. Google is enlisting employees for a pilot program to work without internet access. The search giant, which is undergoing a company-wide rollout of AI tools, says its employees are a frequent target of attacks. The company originally selected 2,500 employees to participate, but then opened it up to volunteers who will also allow select employees to opt out. Okay.
This just makes me happy.
Yeah.
I'm a bad man.
Yeah. Now, I mean, that is one solution to the thing. It's like if we don't want them to download Trojans or bring bad things onto their computer or do some other bad things, right? We just cut off their internet access. Problem solved, right?
What could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? I mean, depending on what it is you do for Google, I can see where this might be problematic.
Really, Harry?
Yeah, not being able to access the greater internet.
I guess if you were working on a company that wants to become the provider of all storage to all things, you might want to know what's going on out there. Yeah, you would, wouldn't you?
Well, you might, but I mean, in terms of firewalls and stuff, more and more big companies, certainly something as big as Google, one of the things that you have to convince people of internally is the internal Google network can't just be flat, right? Meaning that every single Google employee has access to every single thing when they're on the Google network. So you put up
topological separate.
Yeah, so it's like the bulkheads on a submarine. You start leaking in one compartment, say, well, we got to close the watertight doors and so that the whole ship doesn't sink.
Hatches, watertight hatches.
Okay, hatches. Sorry, I'm going to start calling ships boats just to annoy you even more.
By the way, a door.
Yeah.
A door in a ship is not called a door; it's called a port. Most of the openings between compartments in a submarine are hatches, and most of them are watertight and doggable.
Well, one of the things I try to do with this show is not make the universe dumber by putting incorrect information out there. So even though people might think that I don't want to be corrected on this stuff, no, I do. I want us collectively to put less bullshit out into the universe. So I actually appreciate Skep clarifying that point.
I do it for comic relief.
I know, but I actually appreciate it.
You know that stuff anyway.
But you need internal firewalls, and the external thing. Okay, so there's a security trainer which I found. So I thought I would bring up another video which illustrates the part of the point that they're trying to deal with here. I think he might be friends with the guy who did the Emacs thing.
Computers are pretty secure by now. I mean, ours aren't, but in general, it's a security fault with the humans. Now, some of you might say, I run Mac. That means I'm safe. I run Arch Linux. That means I'm beyond humans. But that still doesn't mean I'm safe. So, let's look at the common attack vectors that people might get fooled into. I like to categorize it into 3 main categories. stupidity out of convenience, accidental stupidity, and complete stupidity.
Pythagoras.
I love the stupidity out of convenience.
Stupidity out of convenience.
That's beautiful.
Public Wi-Fi, no security updates. Honestly, I'd be perfectly happy just to like get rid of the rest of the show and just watch his videos and just us laugh. That would be fine by me. But I figure since I went to all the trouble of actually putting a show together, I just wanted to, I just had to throw this out.
That is
here.
great fun.
Thank you.
This channel is like so my favorite thing. Oh, I should probably actually publish the link to his channel in the chat for people,
yes,
shouldn't I? Yeah.
Yes, please. I would like to.
Okay. Here.
Programmers
Sorry,
are
everybody.
also human. Programmers.
No, I love this. This is my new favorite thing. Even as much as I like Otter 841, I like this even more. But that's just because I'm a sad human being. So many of his videos are fantastic. But he's right. I actually can't figure out if this is supposed to be real satire or not, like, or a funny actual security video, because he's absolutely right. It's stupid users succumbing to human, basically social attacks, right? Social engineering attacks that are the issue. And if you just make it so they can't get on the internet, the whole problem solved. We've made it so you can work for an internet company but not cause us to get hacked by just making it so you can't get to the internet. Done and done.
You're working on a closed internal loop.
Yeah. Now, as far as the AI part goes, everybody's working on AI security tools, right? This has been a thing that's been going on forever. In fact, God, what was it about? Maybe it was like 15 years ago. I went to have lunch with somebody who was like the brother of a friend of mine from high school. He said, "Hey, how's it going, Harry? Come on over and we'll have lunch and stuff." And it ended up being what I like to call the ambush interview, where suddenly I'm interviewing for a job that I never asked for and don't want. But the company, it was kind of interesting because the company was involved in how do we detect things on our network that aren't supposed to be there. So it's intrusion detection systems. And AI is actually a huge boon for this sort of thing. So if the moment something gets into your network that's not supposed to be there, if you have an AI system that's able to say, this doesn't smell right, and then flags it to a human being, that means you can stomp on it. So these AI tools are what everybody's sort of looking for, whether it's AI or machine learning. It's a big deal. But AI, of and in itself, is not really the solution to everything. So there's this article here. Over a few months, ChatGPT went from correctly answering a simple math problem 98% of the time to just 2%, study finds. Yeah, it's like those people that were in Mr. Wallace's security video started interacting with it, and as it learned from interaction with people, it got dumber and dumber and dumber.
It's great. I do like the comments I've seen attached to this. It's just like, oh, it's reassuring how human it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's becoming more human.
Well, remember what happened to Porte, the Microsoft thing? It was online, and then within about 48 hours, it had turned into Rage After Storm. It had turned into a full Nazi, racist, terrible thing. They'd corrupted the poor thing, right? So I don't know if AI is the panacea that most people think it is. I mean, I think machine learning is fantastic. So you're just looking at what's happening on your network, and you use like a Bayesian classification system to say, does this look like the things that came before, yes or no? And anything that basically sticks out, you have a human go look at. That's totally fine. But the idea that you're going to have full-blown AI just magically securing your network, it's like, no, that's not going to catch the new attacks.
Exactly. Everybody's hoping for AI to fill the niche of providing you with information about the things you don't know about. You know, to make some of that visible. That's one of the things that they hope AI can do, or at least that's a theme I see over and over people writing about. AI is really good at doing scut work. If you tell it precisely what you want, it can be very effective at doing a lot of work very quickly. It can assemble some of that work and do some kind of proto reasoning to aggregate and congregate and otherwise sort, categorize, and otherwise organize, any data set you want to retrieve. I think that AI both is going to improve. Version 2 is probably going to have such substantial improvements in it that people will be, that's when I expect a big reaction from people when they start using a version 2 that fixes a lot of these problems and maybe has some new features that might be surprising.
Yeah, well, I think machine learning is extremely interesting and useful.
Yes.
I have no issue with machine learning. And also AI can look at huge data sets and sometimes determine that there are relationships between variables without understanding what those relationships are.
Yes.
And I think it was like 2 years ago, I think I talked about an AI model that was used to forecast the how many salmon were going to basically run that year after they would breed and head off to the ocean. And it all has to do with chaotic attractors in this big set of data. And the AI was able to sort of figure out how this would work by just throwing tons and tons of data at it. The AI did not have a model. It just looked at a bunch of data and said, well, this kind of looks like this time when this result came out, without understanding any of it. Didn't know what the water temperature data meant, or the weather data, or any of that other stuff. But it would come up with these forecasts that were much more accurate in many cases than the ones based on the models that people came up with. That's awesome / terrifying.
Were they statistically significantly more accurate?
Yes.
Okay.
Like 2 to 1.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's substantial.
Yeah. Good times. All right. Well, we're not talking about AI because I hate talking about AI. Let's see.
He doesn't mean that.
I really don't like talking about AI.
He loves you.
Okay. So there's a movie that came out, Sound of Freedom. And I was, again, because I'm just naive and I don't understand things, I was trying to understand why so many people on the left had a hate boner about this movie. Because on the face of it, it's a movie about child trafficking and a guy who went out and basically saved people, right? No big surprise. Problem, dude, solves problem, happy ending. Okay. And ostensibly
that's a huge problem.
Well, ostensibly, we all don't want children to be trafficked. That would be terrible, right?
Trafficked? You say trafficked, other people say engaging in something maybe they want to engage in.
Well, what I didn't understand about this was that I guess this movie had been crowdfunded, and lots of Christian people, for instance, put a bunch of the money in to make this thing. It's a very small production. So Caviezel and company, they basically made this movie on a shoestring compared to the big things, and it ended up bringing in more box office when it launched than things like Raiders of the Lost Ark Part 75, the Phoebe Waller-Bridge Can Do No Wrong adventure movie, also featuring Harrison Ford. And I was trying to figure out why they hated this. Well, the people on the left are sort of thinking that this is some sort of wet dream fantasy put together by QAnon people. So they're so ideologically driven that they can't appreciate a well-made movie about good people doing something virtuous to stop bad people.
So they hate this movie for where it comes from?
They hate this movie for where it comes from. They hate this movie because it deals with things that people who support the Orange Man believe. Just a whole series of completely illogical things. Their response is the equivalent of your wife or girlfriend getting angry at you because of something that she experienced in a dream.
What is QAnon people? What is that?
They're like this weird right-wing-ish conspiracy thing that believed a whole bunch of stuff that involving, God, I don't know, can I even say what it is without YouTube killing the Minions channel?
Yeah,
it's a weird right-wing conspiracy thing, right?
Okay.
Where they made a bunch of strange claims about things people on the left were supposedly doing.
I think
which,
it's fairly new. It's not like it's like a newish.
It's a few, 2-3 years
well,
old.
It's about 2 years old. Yeah, 2 or 3 years old.
But because those people
understand anybody having an issue with the movie about
saving kids.
Yes,
it's one of these things
that
where
blows my mind.
It's gone to the point. If I feel like it's just like, oh, it has a whiff of this, so we're going to paint it with the broad strokes of.
Cannibalistic Wizard said, "Who is this QAnon person?" Well, the QAnon person was introduced to the internet by the 4chan guy. That 4chan guy, basically shared his AOL login, and that's how the QAnon person showed up.
Oh.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't understand how anybody could have an issue with the idea of children being saved from that kind of horror. I don't understand.
I don't want my
How could you
movie
have a
making to be political. I don't want to be, I don't see why this needs to be political. It's a good story about a guy who saved children. Jim Caviezel and a bunch of people involved are Christians. Why is that a problem? So what?
I think,
so what's the issue with that?
Wasn't it also an issue because he was in Passion of the Christ, and so people have an issue with that.
Oh, he's a known Christian.
I know. Well, he didn't go full Mel Gibson and get all liquored up, crash his car, and start talking about the chosen people. I mean, it's not like Caviezel's done that. And the other thing is that Caviezel he is an S tier actor. He's very good.
Yeah. This. I think there's also a little bit of envy coming from the left. Their side is throwing out movie bomb after movie bomb, and the right throws up just a little bit of nothing and makes a whole bunch of money on it. It's going to piss them off. I think that's some of this. I think some of this is just anger.
Well, they got rid of Gina. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You finish.
They get mad when things go good for the right. I'm sorry. That's all I had.
Well, the Gina Carano thing, right? She was on The Mandalorian. A lot of people were saying, "Oh yeah, you should get a Disney Plus thing," and this show's actually worth watching. And then for ideological reasons, they get rid of somebody who was instrumental to the show. And you fast forward, and they're cutting and trying to cost save, and they're just not doing well. They're just cutting off their nose to spite their face. They're so ideologically driven that they're getting rid of talented people that people want to see just for the sake of being, I don't know, ideologically right or pure. Come on. Business really needs to get back to just being about business.
It will shed a bunch of cost if it does, but they've got to start getting rid of some of these, needless positions that are, effectively blackmail hires. You have to hire a person who looks like this because, your DCE score is, or DCI, what they're calling it. All right. Let's see. That is.
Oh, Skep.
You're getting very distorted.
Am I getting distorted?
I think you're wandering away from your snowball.
Oh, I was.
Well, so remember back in the day, Skep, the day was a great time, but they had movies like The China Syndrome with Jack Lemmon. And I can't remember who the woman was that was in it. It wasn't Jane Fonda, was it? Who was it?
Yeah, it was Jane Fonda.
It was Hanoi. Okay, so it was Hanoi Jane and Jack Lemmon. And Jack Lemmon, big lefty, right? And I've always been a big fan of nuclear power, ever since I've been old enough to understand it. I was so pleased that day that I got to go to the Diablo Canyon Visitor Center and actually touch like a uranium fuel pellet and stuff. It was fantastic. But I was a weird little kid. Anyway, that movie pissed me off so much. But that didn't mean...
Syndrome?
Yeah, the China Syndrome. That pissed me off so much. And just because of that, it wasn't that I couldn't go back and watch the original movie of The Odd Couple because it had Jack Lemmon in it. I could even at the age of like 5 or 6 or 7, I could distinguish between somebody's stupid politics and their ability to do a job as an entertainer. Okay? I don't think that I'm asking that much of people that they just do something that I mastered at the age of 5. That's all I'm saying. Because to my mind, this is just stupid.
And when did you master differential equations? How old were you?
Master? No one ever masters differential equations. It's like Emacs. You do them all the time for your whole life.
You evaded that question.
I did. And besides, you didn't even ask if it was ODE or PDEs.
The answer is like 14.
No, a little later than that. But anyway, God, how old was I when I did my first derivative? I think I was in
the first. Yeah,
I was in 7th grade.
Your first DYDX was in 7th grade.
7th grade. Yeah. I actually was with, I had a friend who was a little bit older than me, and his family was full of PhDs, and they were all very smart people. And we actually went to Radio Shack after school and sat down on the floor with a whiteboard, and he showed me how limits turned into derivatives. And I learned, I did my first bit of calculus sitting on the floor in a Radio Shack.
Oh, nice.
I know, that's so geeky. But enough about me and my stupid life.
More and more accurate.
So what the hell were we going to talk about? Let's see. What's the next thing? Oh, I wanted to just, for contrast, because occasionally we talk about the weirdness about people's weight and stuff and how everybody's just really worked up about weight, right? And how things have changed. I wanted to just show you a 1989 Weight Watchers commercial, just so you can kind of get a sense of what the difference was of tone. Okay, this is not particularly long. This is just about the tone, right? And just sort of look at the people involved and compare it to where we are now and the whole discussion about weight.
After my family, there are 3 things in life I really love. Food, and more food. I absolutely adore chili.
It looks
I
terrible.
devour pasta.
Yeah, me too.
And I just live for desserts. How do I stay fit? With the support of a magazine, Weight Watchers magazine. Weight Watchers magazine explains how to prepare
Oh, I do
delicious
too.
low-calorie food to help you stay fit. It
I
also
miss the
has
big hair.
7-day menu plans, exercise tips,
Even like the
articles
shoulder
on
pads.
fashion and beauty, and much more. For mouth-watering meals that are easy to prepare, and for the guy.
So what are we not seeing in this commercial? What is it that we're
Beauty in
not?
every size.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about. It's not about. Just really the whole idea of Weight Watchers in 1989 was, hey, you want to keep that annoying weight off? You just had a kid or something. Go join Weight Watchers and we'll help you lose that annoying 10, 20 pounds. It wasn't about show up and lose 600 pounds or my 8,000 pound life.
Weight Watchers was actually a kind of a spin-off phenomenon from the self-help groups of which AA is a part and probably was one of the first. And it was, a place where you could go and peer pressure would help you reinforce the behaviors that would get you to your weight goal. And then you would have, all these moments where your weight is revealed to everybody else and everybody knows how you're doing and you want to look good at the Weight Watchers meeting, which is usually why you only attend if you lost weight.
Yeah, group weigh-in was like the whole thing, and it was basically so you'd have a peer group to kind of support you.
Right.
And shame you.
Sort of like agreeing to show up at the gym with friends at a particular time. That kind of thing. So but it's not like there weren't overweight people, and there weren't people sort of marketing. So I mean, here's Richard Simmons. I may need to do something about the audio before he gets into all the songs. So this is the ad for "Sweatin' to the Oldies."
1-800-421-2000. Remember this?
Hey there, it's me,
Ah.
Richard Simmons. Listen, are you sick
I'm
and
turning him
tired
down.
of boring lookalike exercise videos with synthesized elevator?
He scares me.
So I'm going to do this. So here's like him doing. Here's the people. Now you'll notice there's some people there that are a little heavier, right? But again, not like 600-700 pounds.
2 shots.
Well, see, there's something there that usually doesn't happen in the modern commercials. They're exercising. They're moving.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, there used to be this guy. I actually really wanted these videos back in the day. That he basically does the same thing. It was from the early 2000s, but he taught you how to dance like to the music videos. So like, you know, stuff from Michael Jackson or Beyonce, or I guess it was Destiny's Child as a group back then. And basically it was fitness to dance, right? So exactly this, but more hip hop and stuff. And I love them. I always love watching those videos, but that's more fun. I agree. There should be
everything
more, like,
was
dance
fun.
classes like this.
Well, have you seen those P90X commercials for the, I guess started like maybe, was it 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed in the P90X before and after pictures that the guy always looks kind of happy, but sort of overweight at the beginning, and then at the end he looks
And
just
then he's miserable.
He just looks miserable. It's like he's skinny, but he just looks miserable.
The will to live has died.
Yeah, it's like so not fun. But I mean, it used to be that, you know, you just go on this thing to lose a few pounds and stuff. It wasn't like this existential weight crisis, you know, where the kind of stuff that people are dealing with now. And it wasn't political either. You know, you could just say, hey, maybe you might want to go run around the block a few times without it, you know, being told that you're racist because talking about weight is somehow a racist thing. I was talking to the whole thing about the idea that BMI is racist is it's like, wow.
What?
Is there anything that isn't racist?
Wait, what?
Yeah, BMI is racist. Yeah, it has a
That's
racist
stupid.
history.
Is it really?
It is.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, no, that's only the American Medical Association that says that. The American Medical Association is ready to say goodbye to determining if someone is healthy weight solely by the body mass index owing to the measurement's, quote, racist roots.
Well,
Wow.
you know, they're so afraid. They're so afraid to go to the doctor. The doctor look at them and say, you need to exercise, move around
no.
some. You weigh too much. That was the best thing. I used to be very, very big. I've lost over 100 and something pounds. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. My doctor sat me down and said, honey, you need to lose some weight and you'll feel better. Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did, and I feel better.
But the report found that BMI does not appropriately
No, don't be.
represent
You're
racial
fine.
and ethnic minorities.
Now, there may
doesn't
be...
appropriately represent racial and ethnic minorities.
It does.
How? Because it's based on, quote, the imagined ideal Caucasian of the 19th century without considering a person's gender, ethnicity, or dreams.
Well, there are differences between different haplogroups, right? In terms of things like bone density and a lot of other things. So you could certainly make the case that BMI is more of a guideline than a rule for some people. And there may be people who it's not a good predictor for. So if somebody shows up and their build is just different, right? But they've got a resting pulse of 54 and they're running 20 miles a week or something. Yeah, I mean, you cut that person some slack. I don't think most doctors are going to look at somebody like that and say, well, you seem to be in really good shape, but your BMI is all screwed up, so I'm going to be a complete dick to you.
What? That's, in fact, I run into this because I have a rather Italian body designed to have a big stomach. That's the first thing to get fat and the last thing to get skinny in my body. And but I go to see my cardiologist at the VA, and she just says, yeah, you're looking great. I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost 75 pounds over the last 2 years, and it's just been just eat normally. Just eat normally and don't eat shit. If you follow those two rules, you will be fine. You will be a fine weight. You will be absolutely fine. And just move around. Exercise. Just move normally. You don't even have to have an exercise program. Just get off your ass.
If somebody's not asking something from me, like buying them an extra plane ticket for free, or doesn't expect something from me, it's like it is absolutely none of my business what somebody wants to do. I do have a few small rules. Never criticize somebody who's actually making an effort. It's like if somebody walks into the gym and they're like 700 pounds and huffing and puffing and using the pink dumbbell and then having to tap out early, fine.
Good for you.
Good for you.
Yeah, they're trying. That's all that matters.
Don't be a dick to anybody who's, anybody who's if somebody's comfortable with themselves and they're not demanding anything from me, it's none of my business. Don't be a dick. If somebody's making an effort, don't be a dick. Yeah, you're right. Don't be a dick. That's what Buddha would say, right? Don't be a dick.
I knew him.
But anyway, I just thought this commercial was kind of interesting, and I did not intend to spend a bunch of time talking about weight. Oh, I apologize in advance for what's about to happen. So there's a town called Uranus, Missouri.
Of course it is.
They have a place called the Fudge Factory in Uranus, Missouri.
No.
Have you heard of this, Sora?
No, but I love it. Do it.
So let's enjoy some scatological humor in this ad for the Uranus, Missouri Fudge Factory.
That fudge comes from Uranus. Uranus, Missouri. That felt good. Tastes even better. Wow. Deep in the crack of America's heartland, the citizens of Uranus are bursting to give you their amazing fudge. That's right, fudge from Uranus. I'm not fudging with you. We're literally in Uranus. That's the mayor of Uranus, and you can get your fudge out the back door at UranusGeneralStore.com.
So this goes on for a while. I think at the end of this commercial, they said fudge 70 times. 70 times in 2 minutes and 48 seconds. Even Seth MacFarlane couldn't take a joke and push it this far without breaking it.
It's actually pretty brilliant, though, that they made a fudge factory there. The advertising.
It is.
It advertises itself. Sorry.
It's the Uranus Fudge Factory.
Love the freshly packed out the back door.
Yes.
Marketing efforts like this work this way with American retail. Here's what happens. This thing has said, look at us, look at us, look at us, look at us. Okay, then you'll get a look. They better make amazing fudge.
Uranus Fudge Packers Union. Yeah.
I'm serious.
I don't know.
Fudge in the presidential election. I'm serious as fudge of a bar exam. You're ready to squeeze out so many different budgets they have. Fudge for everyone. Blueberry fudge, chocolate fudge, vanilla fudge, chocolate pecan fudge, mint chocolate fudge, cookies and cream fudge, peanut butter fudge, M&M fudge, toffee bar fudge. There's a fudge for everyone right now.
Yeah.
And I'm making the mayor's #2 favorite. You can try some of the Uranus General Store. Click now. There is some yummy fudge from Uranus. Fudge
so does anybody here know how you actually are supposed to make fudge?
Lots of butter,
sugar,
and cocoa.
Okay,
Unsweetened cocoa powder.
No, the secret to making fudge is the consistency of it. What you have to do is you have to take all these ingredients and you have to mix them and you have to take them up to a very specific temperature. And you have to hold them within a 4-degree Fahrenheit temperature range. And you have to hold them there for a very specific amount of time and not stir it. And then you take it off the heat, you let it cool down to another temperature, and then you stir it vigorously until it loses its sheen. And the reason for this is because you can't have large sugar crystals in it or it ends up getting grainy. Fudge has to be completely smooth. The other way you can do it is if you're a big cheater, is you can substitute the sugar and the butter and stuff for things like sweetened condensed milk. And use high fructose corn syrup, because if you change the composition of the sugars, the nucleation of the sugar crystals changes accordingly.
It also changes the texture of the fudge.
Also changes the texture of fudge. But if you're making classic fudge, you have to have very precise control of time and temperature. And by doing it in a very specific way, by staying at the right temperature for the right amount of time and not messing with it, you can actually make it completely smooth without any weird ingredients.
Huh.
Yeah.
Bob, your Uncle Fanny's you're in.
Yeah. But anyway, what is it? milk, lemonade, round the corner, fudge is made. I don't know.
Your Aunt Fanny.
Yeah. Yeah. So apparently there's a town called Uranus, Missouri. Okay.
Of course there is. Only in Missouri.
Because why wouldn't there be? You can get shirts.
Is it
Say,
pronounced
I heart
Uranus?
Uranus.
Missouri
Or is
is
it Uranus?
Arkansas's Arkansas.
Either's fine.
Oh, okay.
Missouri is Arkansas's Arkansas.
Really?
Yeah, Arkansas is Texas's Arkansas, but Arkansas is in Arkansas too, and that Arkansas is Missouri. God damn.
All right.
Experiments with gravity.
Well, so I don't know if we discussed or anybody on the different shows discussed this back a few months ago, but we had a city here in Saskatchewan. There's a city. We have a city called Regina, and there was an ad campaign called "Regina, the city that rhymes with fun." And they were forced to retract it and apologize because people got offended.
Why?
Oh,
it was so good.
Were they triggered?
Yeah, so they even put out a couple of really funny ads that were really good, and it wasn't really that bad. It was just all tongue in cheek, right? And can you imagine having the slogan "Regina, the city that rhymes with fun"? Come on, but no, they retracted it. The company that got hired it was like to help boost tourism and stuff like that had to give an apology and no, we can't have fun. We can't have fun things.
Yeah, this is why we can't have nice things.
Damn. Well, okay, this is fun. This is not the sea otter, but I feel like after this is weird. I feel like I need a palate cleanser for what was basically a palate cleanser.
When surfers are out in the water, it's not unusual for them to see dolphins and seals swimming around them. What is unusual is for a seal to haul itself out of the water up onto a surfboard.
It's a baby
Good evening.
seal.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee. That is what is happening at Tourmaline Surf Park, where a seal pup is hanging out with surfers on their boards.
It's not trying to eat them.
Tourmaline Surf Park is known
Okay,
for
enough of these people. Let's get to the thing. Look at it. Now, technically, they are breaking the law in a big way. If the seal wants to be there, they're supposed to basically get the hell away from it. That is a protected marine mammal, and you're not supposed to be near it. And it actually, it's sort of like if you go out to the pier and the sea lions decide they want to just hang out on the pier, well, you're shit out of luck.
Yes, that's right.
Because you're not allowed to go anywhere near them. Maybe there's a loophole for like when you're in the middle of the ocean and you're sitting on your board and the seal comes over. He's not supposed to be that blasé about people.
You don't want to be within 10 feet of a sea lion.
No.
You're in danger. You're in fucking danger. You don't think those things can move fast. They're amazing.
Yeah.
You're a cute little baby.
Board to board, jumping on the different surface boards.
Different surfers, like he's just making the rounds.
10 minutes and then paddle out to another surfer's board.
No, he's just
And
saying
he
hi
does
to
it all
everybody.
morning long.
According to Ed, there were eyewitness accounts
He loves
to
to
why
surf.
the pup is now
He's let me show how it's
Well,
done.
some surfers saw a great white come into the point here and eat its mom.
I wonder
about
where the
3-4
mom
days
is.
ago.
I wonder if it's going to
And
be okay. Are
ever
they going to
since then,
take
the
care of
baby's
it?
just been stuck there.
At this point, the seal shows
If they,
no
if they
signs
can't
of
find the mom, because that's what he's looking
Seems to
for,
be
right?
healthy, seems to be happy.
Maybe
Something,
orphan.
yeah.
Just has this weird
Maybe.
behavior where he wants to be around the people and on their boards.
Oh god, I love how they just do the little like
This morning we
squid
had
squid like
little seal.
oh like oh look at it go
around next to us. It looks pretty calm. Looks like it was fishing or something like that. Couldn't really tell.
I don't think he understands those folks ate seals.
Seals are very playful. I've out on a sea kayak, I've had experiences with harbor seals. They're basically dogs that swim. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you're still not supposed to get close to them. But I thought you guys might think this was cute, the baby seal
That is
climbing up
cute.
on the
Thank you.
surfboards.
yeah.
Happy.
It's not like a murderous sea otter like the other thing.
Look, the murderous otter is cute though.
Made me forget
this
how
is
much
more
I hate
cute.
humans for a second. Thank you.
Let's see. Here's another thing that sort of confused me at first because I'd never heard of this thing. Tonight there are kakapo in the forest of the northern island of Shemp for the first time in over a century. We released 4 into Shemp Sanctuary. What the hell is this thing?
Oh my god, it's adorable.
It
It's
looks
the
like a
thing that,
parrot had
humped
sex with a
Stephen
beaver.
Fry. I think, isn't that the one that humped Stephen Fry in that one documentary?
I don't recall it.
Or one of the, hold on, I'll have to find it. They're so freaking cute. Look at it. Oh my god. It's adorable.
Well, they've been trying to DNA sequence these things, and this is on an island off the coast of New Zealand, but they've been just trying to get these things back out into the wild and repopulate them because there just aren't that many of them.
Link in the side.
Oh.
Link for me or link for everybody else?
Link for you. But I'll link for everybody else because it's a BBC Two thing, so you will want to play it with
It looks
sound.
angry.
Okay.
Looks angry.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Look at the happy face. So cute.
It's a
You know.
critically endangered thing. This is a weird.
If you want to support me, go over to my OnlyFans.
This is a weird bird.
It's very curious and sweet.
Is he sweet?
He's got green feathers. He's so cute.
It's.
Sorry.
I mean,
Sorry.
it really blends in with its green plumage.
Yes. Yes, little cockapoo.
That's a strange animal.
It's
Well,
a
anyway,
precious.
they released some of them back into the forest, so they're trying to bring this species back
Yay.
from oblivion.
Look at it. Oh god, it's just the right shape, like a little like stuffed animals that you can hug.
Mm-hmm.
Look at them long legs. Run, cockapoo, run.
I'm glad that you're happy.
They're wonderful.
Okay. Let's see. We have more stuff here. Let's see. Weight Watchers commercial. Oh, it's right. I was supposed to show something, right? Oh, no. Or we're not supposed to show it. The link you sent me?
Yep. Yeah. You can
But
show
just
it.
with
It's
the sound off, you said.
a sound. It's BBC Two, so I'd be worried about copy strike because it's from the BBC. But if you forward it to about 1 minute and 2 seconds.
Well, I don't know. I think Hefke might get angry at me if I even change it. Oh, so is it going to bite Stephen Fry?
No, Stephen Fry is fine. It's the other guy. It's the zoologist or whatever the heck he is. I don't
Okay.
know. What is he?
I don't know. I hate to say this, but I can sort of see why they're having trouble surviving. It seems like a suboptimal design.
Wait for it.
Nice.
For me to poop on.
Cockapoo attack! Pop, 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 pop. Ow.
That is not what he's doing to his head. That's me.
Oh my god, that's so cute! Bat, 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 bat.
I don't know. I don't want to be this guy.
He's very confused. He doesn't see a lot of kakapo around, and there's this guy with all nice and green.
Mm-hmm.
He's just being friendly.
Yeah.
Have you ever picked up a big bird like that?
No.
Got
No,
to
sir.
Pick up some hawks and some owls and
He loves him.
they're amazingly powerful. Amazingly powerful, and those talons, they will just rend you.
Oh my god!
Absolutely open you up.
He's being a good
You
sport
think it's
about
because
it.
he was wearing a green shirt? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. Oh.
Huh.
Yep.
Huh.
The tropical birds carry a, I forget if it's a parasite or bacterium. They causes a disease called psittacosis, otherwise known as parrot fever.
Oh.
Gotta be careful handling parrots, tropical birds.
Oh, Skep didn't see the cartoons that didn't make it that I've been showing, has he?
No.
You totally missed. Well, you were here for Salt and Slug though, weren't you?
No.
Really?
Salt on the Slug?
Salt and Slug.
I don't think I remember seeing that.
Okay, I can show you that one to you later, but there's one more for Sora, because you want to get the complete set. I present to you Frothy Dog.
Cartoons that never made it.
Come on along and sing a song about Frothy, Frothy Dog. Look, don't touch or you'll getting on by Frothy, Frothy Dog. He's foaming at the mouth 'cause he's really excited. He's putting on a show and you're invited. Come on along and bark a song about Frothy, Frothy Dog. He's always smiling 'cause he's got lockjaw. He's Frothy, Frothy Dog. Don't even come close, don't even attempt to. He hasn't had a shot, not even his temper. When you play fetch, watch out what you catch from Frothy. Frothy Dog. He's foaming at the mouth 'cause he's really excited. He's putting on a show and you're invited. Frothy Dog.
So, you feel better, Sora?
Frothy.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I'm surprised it said in the way of Old Yeller.
You liked Rupert?
Rupert the Grouper? Yeah.
Rupert the Dancing Grouper. Okay, because Skep hasn't seen any of these. All right.
That's fun.
What?
That was fun. Frothy Dog.
Okay, let's see. Copy link address.
Putting
There you
on
go.
a show and you're invited.
Cartoons that never made it.
He's Rupert.
He's always in the mood to put on a show.
Rupert, the dancing Rupert. He'll do his dog shoe to entertain you.
You can laugh if you dare, but you'll be casting for air.
Rupert.
Just give him a look, and it's you that is hooked.
Rupert. Rupert. He can watch it and roar. Just let him go. Rupert.
He's a Rupert. Come back, don't you know? Next week's big show. Rupert, the dancing Rupert.
Just look at
Okay, well, we might as well do the whole set for Skep.
Yeah.
Cartoons.
This is my
that
personal
never made
favorite.
it.
Salt and Slug, they are in love. Salt and Slug.
Wait.
I have seen this one.
Okay.
I did see this.
Salt and Slug. Salt and Slug. You know they're in love, and that's why they are. Salt and Slug. Ooh, Salt and Slug.
What is this stupid use
He's a
one?
mover and a
Unicorn.
shaker. Salt and Slug.
Slug's much slower, except when she's eating tomatoes. Salt and slug.
Salt sometimes gets too excited.
Salt starts to shake and slug is
Oh. Slug's in trouble when Slug starts to bubble. Salt and Slug.
Isn't that sweet? That a shaker of salt and a garden grub could meet.
Salt and Slug.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nice.
Rupert. I like Rupert the Dancing Grouper.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, that's my favorite one too.
Everything else is boring. I have this thing on a DNA analysis of Minoan people. Because why wouldn't we talk about that? But we're actually running out of time, so we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the genetic analysis behind it because I'm too tired to talk
Who
about
cares
this.
where people are from?
Yeah, you're Yeah, who cares
They're
about
dead.
this, right? Yeah, this is like old and stuff.
They obviously weren't their DNA wasn't strong enough for them to still be here,
Yeah,
right?
they're weaker than the cockapoos or whatever those stupid birds are.
Kickapoo.
Kickapoos. All right, so we're done. Anybody have any final thoughts before we go?
Yes, I did want to call attention to the name of George Stamp. It was in that document you got up there. That was an amazing last name. That last name went halfway across the page.
Yeah, Stamatoyanopoulos, aka Shemp.
Yeah, Shemp.
Greek Shemp.
Yeah.
Greek Shemp. Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you, panel. Thank you, chat.